All right, great events up in New York City celebrating LSU over the weekend. Second Heisman Trophy winner in school history, Joe Burrow, takes the award home on Saturday night. Bunnie Cannon, of course, awarded that back in 1959. Miss Bunnie Cannon was up there in New York City. She works over at LSU. She is a great liaison for LSU. Great speaker, great representative for the university, for the football program, and she was up in New York. I had a chance to see her over the weekend. The Cannons wrote a great letter to Joe, Dear Joe, a letter from the Cannon family, just kind of giving him an idea of what he was about to experience and how his life was about to change. And Miss Bunnie's here with us on this Tuesday morning to talk a little bit about it. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great. Glad to be back home.
Yes, ma'am. I kind of summed up the trip yesterday for our listeners as a trip and an assignment of a lifetime in radio. How about your point of view going up there, representing your dad at LSU and seeing another Heisman Trophy winner come back to Baton Rouge?
We were talking on the plane ride home how literally exactly what you said. It was a trip of a lifetime. You know, my entire life we've talked about the Heisman, and my dad and I, we've visited back and forth every year. And I apologize for my voice right now. It's a little hoarse. But
me too.
He always wanted another Heisman Trophy winner, and I really never thought I would see another one in his lifetime, and much less mine. Yeah. But it was the right time, the right person. He's just an amazing kid. His family is they're an amazing family, down to earth, grounded, and there are no words for me to tell you what I was feeling when they called his name. It was, I really thought I was going to just break down and lose it, but I actually held it together pretty good. Yeah. But it was an amazing trip, and literally a trip of a lifetime that I don't think can be duplicated, even when we win the next one.
There have been a lot of departments highlighted during this championship run for the football program, them getting the most shine, but Joe Burrow, obviously. But the social media team and the video department deserves a ton of credit because they've captured all these moments that have happened this season, and one of them was on Friday when the jet touched down in New York City. It looked like Michael Bonnet gave Joe Burrow a letter from your family to Joe in which he read to himself and then shared that with his parents, and you could see the emotion just kind of pouring out from the Cannon point of view. What went into that letter?
You know, we wanted to meet him. My mom in particular wanted to meet him because she has always said throughout the entire season how much he reminds her of my dad. And it's in the way he holds it's his presence really in an interview. And, you know, he speaks with confidence. It's not cockiness, it's confidence, but it's the way he kind of jokes with the media a little bit. My dad would do that a lot. And so we wanted to just tell them, number one, we're very, very proud of you. This entire state is proud of you. And no matter where you go, we'll always be here for you. And please come back often. And then the other thing is really just you can't prepare someone for what they are about to embark on. And without getting into the specifics, because I think he wanted to keep some of it private, what they shared on the video clip was, you know, my dad wanted another Heisman Trophy winner so bad. And so he would have been extremely proud. But with great honor comes great burden. And he is he has been elevated into another stratosphere. And I had no doubt that he was going to win. I mean, I can't read fortunes or whatever, but I just felt it the whole time. And like I said in one interview, I made my reservations literally and called the Heisman right after the Florida game. Because if we could have beat Florida, you know, we can beat anybody. And so it's just, he is going to be people are going to want something from him every day.
Yeah.
And it's going to make his life completely different. And until you've lived it, and honestly, the information I really wanted to get out to his parents is it's going to affect his family even more, because the relationship that they had, they're not going to be able to go to dinner with him anymore. They're not going to be able to visit friends in the same way that they used to, because every single person is going to want something from you, either an autograph or to shake hands or to meet him. And you know, my father lived until he was 80 years old, and it went on up until the day he died.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jordy got his Dr. Cannon signed pictures just at Christmas like 2 years ago, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
and I've been framed at my house and sitting up there. So that is, Bunnie, that is some fascinating perspective from someone who has lived it up close. I want to ask you something that is tinged with some grief, and so I apologize ahead of time if it's too forward, but there's been a lot of talk about the kind of just the coincidence of the day that Dr. Cannon passes away, Joe Burrow signs at LSU. When you hear that, does that mean anything to you?
It does, because my dad loved Coach O, and he was honored to be the honorary guest captain at the spring game, I believe. And after each time my dad would go back, I think they would have either a sideline conversation. And I remember my mom and my dad telling me something about a conversation about quarterbacks. I don't know the details so much of the conversation, but I knew at that point they were either looking for somebody or, they had, I don't know if they had talked about Joe or if they even knew Joe existed at that time. But I think it's, I'm not saying it's something out there that my dad's, making things happen, but I know if he could, he would actually help.
Yeah, yeah, straight up.
I think it's very appropriate that if he couldn't last, that he would pass the baton and just go on home. That is so typical of him to do. So yeah, I think it has something to do with it. And there's too many similarities between the 1958 team and this team.
Yeah.
You look at all the different things that they've been through, how they, like you said, a bunch of. I don't think it was like this. I don't think it was a bunch of ragtag kids. I think it was a very, very well-defined football program. But things aligned at the right time. And you bring in a kid like Joe Burrow, who has leadership skills and knows what he wants in life, and it flourishes. And I think that was, everybody calls the 1958 team the perfect season. Well, there's nothing more perfect than what we've got going on right now.
Miss Bunnie Cannon, it's always great to hear from you. Great to see you over the weekend. Thank you for the memories and the time this morning.